Well, it's a beautiful day today and I'm on the way to get some Wellington boots. I had a pair sent to me last week, but they were too small, so I've sent them back. So I thought I need to go to a shop and try a pair on. And apparently there's a screw fix down on the industrial estate, which I wasn't aware of. This place on the left here used to be a field. Now it's more houses. On the left hand side here is the railway, where apparently there hasn't been a train for over the last 18 months because they've been installing this electrification, which on first look does look a bit ugly, but like everything else, we'll get used to it in a few months and it will soon blend into the landscape. Maybe they could paint them green. Well, I say the first trains. Apparently the scheme of events is they're going to open the railway again, but put the old trains on there, and we won't get the new trains until spring 2025. It'll be nice to have the trains back. I remember years ago when the steam train used to come up. Yes, this is the industrial heartland of the Rhondda here. The question is, where is this screw fix? So these buildings on the right hand side here are now all different businesses. But back in the day, this used to be the home of Thomas Burberry before they sacked all the staff and went to China because it was cheaper. And before Thomas Burberry came here, it was Polikoff's factory, where I think they used to make ball gowns and suits. Just across there, there's a field. That's actually part of a farm. The farm is on the other side of the valley, but this is where they put the horses out, and they used to put sheep there many years ago. It's a weekday now, so obviously that's why it's busy. But it is half term, and I've discovered this morning that in the Rhondda during half term bus fares are only £1 if you buy a paper ticket. I found this out after I'd swiped my credit card on the machine, so apparently I will pay full price. But when I go home, if I buy a paper ticket, then it's cheap for a whole week. There's a van with screw fix on. We just chase him. Look at those mountains up there. They're inviting. They're saying, come up with a flask of tea and enjoy the sun. Well, once I get these Wellingtons that fit, I'll be able to do that. Right, let me keep my wits about me, otherwise I could get flattened by a screw fix lorry. I got my boots, £22, £11 a leg. These ones fit, although I've got one foot bigger than the other. So here they are, building the railway of the future. Well, it's lovely to see the sun. Apparently when the train line opens, this is called S1-21 station, and the train is not going to stop here because they haven't upgraded the station. So they're going to open it trains will go past this station, and then at some point in the future they will close it again in order to upgrade the station. You think they would all do it in the one sitting. You know that phrase, don't wash your dirty laundry in public? Well, I've never seen anything like this before. Washing your dirty laundry in public. What if you don't come back in time and it opens? Somebody could pinch your knickers. Look at this across the road here. I think this is quite beautiful. You can look at the forest. Oh, I think the sun's in the wrong place. We can't get a good view of it. But they've taken some of the trees down, and it just looks beautiful just to see through the forestry there. And inside, even on a day as beautiful as today, inside it would be pitch black because they're so close together. As well as putting the electrification of the railway line, a major improvement is that it's 2 sets of tracks, whereas we only ever had 1. So by having 2 sets, trains can pass each other. So in theory, we should have more trains in the valleys. This area here is called Rhyl Close, and all this used to be a farm. There was a farmhouse there with the land around. One thing I've noticed about these trees that are being pulled down, they're only taking certain trees down, the fir trees, and I can already see they're leaving some of the ancient trees there, which used to once fill the valley. It was said there were so many trees that a squirrel could travel all the way from the top of the valley to the bottom without touching the ground. So if you remember, yesterday we were up on top of the coal tips, which is up there, and I took you to my school. I took you to where my old school was. Well, the school is gone, as I showed you, but now the new school has come down onto this mountain here, onto this tip, and my father campaigned to try and keep this open as an open field, which was very successful. And this school has only been here for about 20 years, I think. This used to be an open field, but the problem was the drainage wasn't that good. So when they tried to play football, they were sinking. But here used to be a massive coal tip, really, really tall, about 200, 300 feet up in the air, just coal that used to be dumped, and now it's been turned into a school, and there's this a road here, and now there's this enjoyable route all the way from Treherbert to Treherbert, which is following the course of the river. That's what's interesting about the valleys. You can be in one part where it's really noisy, like the industrial estate, and then 2 minutes later you're just surrounded by the odd car, but the sounds of nature and the river. Hear those birds? Oh, there's Pen Peak there. So these Wellington boots are for a walk that I'm going to do with the community group. So hopefully I can be able to film something and bring you a video. When I took you to my old street yesterday, well, this here is the back end of that street. So this is the scrubland where I grew up as a kid, but it looks completely different now. The trees that are fully grown, they were just sticks when I was here, and you could walk down to the river, which I think would be very hard to do now. But it's better than houses. So all this used to be flat. I can see my old house from here. All this used to be flat. You could go down to the side of the water. There'd be a few trees, but nothing like this. And then go and play down in the river. And you won't be able to see it because it's now hidden. But there used to be a tunnel. And we used to go and play in the tunnel. But you can tell by the side there of how much the water, how big the water can get. It goes all the way up to those trees there. Yes, many a childhood memory from down here. So today the plan was to pick up my boots, go home, and do a bit of work on my blog, because it needs a great overhaul now that I'm back in Wales. But it seems a shame to waste the day with it being so sunny. I do have to phone the gas and electric people, and thank you to everybody for the advice. There is an outstanding debt from the previous person that lived in the house, but they've promised me that this bill is the bill for me. And I've spoken to quite a few people. Some people in the area says it's too high, others say that sounds just about right. So maybe I'll just have to swallow it, with it being the first month, and then curb my usage from February onwards. But spring will be soon. But if it is right, then that's a bit of a rude awakening back to Wales. Right. I've never been down this part, but they tell me there is now a route that you can walk up to the station. This is the place called the Shed. It's like a recycling place. And then next door to that is the new communal tip, where you can bring your things, you know, your household stuff, and get rid of them. And then next door to that is the Everest factory, where they build windows, which is still working, I think. I can see there's cars in the car park. So there's the recycling place, the tip. And then next door to that is Everest, which has been here ever since I was born. Oh, it's an interesting gate, look at that. Designed for fat people. Wide at the bottom, thinner at the top. So this is new to me, this is a new little cut through. I think back in the day you could only get through if you walked through the factory. So I think they gave some of the land and made a public right of way. So we're now coming up to Treherbert station, and under the new plans we will have 2 platforms. But in recent years we would only have 1 platform. See, you can cycle your way through the valley. So when I lived here, it just had 1 platform. But I do remember back in the 70s, there used to be an elaborate setup where I think there were 2 or 3 platforms with a bridge going over the top. Because back in the day, Treherbert was not the end of the line. It continued up to Blaenranther station, and then it went to Blaencwm and through the tunnel over to Swansea. It would be beautiful to have that service now. An hour and 20 minutes from Treherbert to Swansea. I could take you down to the beach, down to the Aberavon beach. I actually made a video here about 25 years ago, and the railway gave me a train for the morning, and it was great fun to having the train going up and down for the video. Look, there's a train there. I did hear that they were doing tests. Maybe this is part of the test to make sure that the line works. But they're using one of the old trains, so these are the old trains that are going to come back in a few weeks. I think the official date to open is the end of this month. Or these new trains, these could be the new ones. It was a great day when the steam train came up here. You could see the smoke going up and down the valley. It would be nice to have the train back. Ah yes, the window making place is quite busy, so obviously they aren't having the week off just because the kids are. See, it's not just all fir trees, there is an industrial side to Treherbert. Once it was coal and now it is windows. I found a Facebook page the other day called Corrugated Iron Appreciation Society. Maybe I should take a picture of these buildings and post a picture in there. There's something quite romantic about a piece of black corrugated iron for a shed. And even in the decay of this one, it looks rather beautiful. This block of houses here, this is the first time I've come down this side. I've only ever seen it from the front of the street, so I didn't know there was a small little blue house down there. But here used to be a theatre many years ago, and they used to say that the stage was so strong that an elephant once appeared on it. Look at that, that's quite attractive there. The old-fashioned toilets. Yeah, so this used to be a theatre where an elephant was on the stage. Charlie Chaplin came here as well to play the person now, not the films, you know. But the local rumours go that it burned down, and the reason why it burned down was because a fight was planned between two of the local families, and they said, right, the husbands will have a fight on the stage, and it was all set up. And the night before, one of the wives was so concerned for her husband that he might get killed that the place mysteriously burnt down and the fight never happened. Now, whether that is true, I do not know, but it's a very good story to tell people when they come and visit the valley. Well, thank you for all your advice regarding the electric and the gas. I will keep you informed. So here are my Wellington boots, and tonight they are having their first excursion. So I'm not quite sure what I've signed up to. I have to get to the top of the mountain by 6 o'clock. Oh, and I must remember to take a torch. So we've now stopped at the viewing platform, and there are the lights down there of Ricos Mountain. But over here is the zip wire. You can jump on the zip wire and go across the reservoir, which is down there. I was tempted to have a go, but now that I've seen it, I don't like the angle, so I might give that a pass. I will come back up here in the day and show you the views, and we'll go over and we'll get an ice cream. I might cycle up here one evening to have a look at the sunset. So yeah, it's not a very interesting video in the dark, but I thought I would give it a go. They tell me there is, I don't think it's an official scientific place of interest, but it's a place where you can come on a clear night and look at the stars. Unfortunately there's a bit of cloud, so we can't see much going on tonight. All the heathers here.
Yeah, keep shining up there.
Come back and have a look at that in the autumn.
This way, are we?
Is that a bog?
I'm not sure. Martin's the best person to ask.
Yeah. Down there, you can just about make out a sheep pen. But we were just saying it would make a very good bothy. There they are. They look like the miners coming home at the end of their shift. And just the little lights through the trees. So we're just stopping for a rest, because apparently there's a very sharp drop. Good job I can't see it. But we'll come back in the day, we'll put the drone up and have a look. And I don't think you'll be able to see it with this camera, but the evening sky is full of stars. Right, you want to go first because I don't know where I'm going?
Yeah.
And I'll come behind you as number 3. So then Martin, what's this here then?
So this trig point is the highest point in the old county of Middlemorgan.
There you go.
Yeah. You wouldn't... It's good it's painted white so it stands out a bit.
And where would the
So,
next
yeah.
place be then? Penavan?
Penavan would be
Over the Brecons.
over in that direction.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, the highest point in Middlemorgan.
So now it's all downhill.
all downhill from here, yeah.
There should be a QR code that you could scan and it would give you some information.
Yeah. I got it on my OS maps. 600 metres.
600 metres. Certainly a different place in the dark.
Yes.
And just explain to me what you were saying about how you can feel quite hot at this point, but don't take your clothes off, leave them on.
Yeah, well that's a sign of hypothermia.
Right.
That starts setting in, you think you're a lot warmer than what you actually are. And yeah.
Because there's a story, which we'll see soon, of a boy that got lost.
Yes, William Llewellyn. Yes, his body was found close to here, and his clothes were starting to be scattered on the mountain, and the body was actually found under a tuft of grass, and the thoughts were that hypothermia had set in, and he just started taking his clothes off, you know. So yeah, there's the stories on the plaque there. But local people found him, but the body, and took him down to the Treherbert Hotel, the Bricks, where the service was conducted, and then the local community put him on the train in Treherbert, and the train took him over to Merthyr, where the community over in Merthyr met him off the train, and a big service was put on over there then as well. So it's quite an emotional sort of point when you come to this memorial. Yeah, I wonder if he walked all that way and got up here. Yeah, nobody knows.
Oh, it's quite a big thing then.
Yeah.
And people have put toys on top. April the 11th, 1902. Just think he was found up here where there's absolutely nothing but cold winds. Well, we've come to the end now, so I will bid you farewell. I cannot wait to go home and have a nice cup of tea and warm up my bones. It's very cold. So I'll catch up with you next time. So from me until then, bye for now.